The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
TV party tonight! What? TV party tonight!
Oh, we got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Don't want to talk about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated to our favorite shows!
Oh, my tickets!
Everybody loves Hippo Toad.
Scary dog!
Dancing at Blurnsville.
Futurama!
Hello. Good evening and welcome to TV Party Tonight. I'm your host, Alexis Ana. And joining me, he got a right gerbil to get here, even though that was clearly a squirrel, Mr. Mark Radulich. Yay!
I have a wall behind me now.
Yay, walls!
Yeah. Well, the no more people, except for that sliver right there, which, there. Except for that sliver right there. For the most part, you don't see the people passing in back of me anymore. I am now HIPAA compliant.
Well, now it's just Robert Ducatsley has people walking behind him.
He does not have to be HIPAA compliant. I do.
I'd rather talk about walls and HIPAA rules than our topic for tonight because, wow, let's just add this to the list of shows that fumbled at the ending. I mean, I was trying to think, it's like, okay, so Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, iZombie. I was trying to think of all these shows that we've watched and we reviewed and we've enjoyed. And then we get to the last season and we go, my God, you guys just gave up, didn't you?
Well, I'm with you on the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. What I remember of our review of that was at the end, we were both like, all right, already. We have not reviewed iZombie. That was you in a fever dream.
No, I've watched iZombie. I was including it in the shows of Fumbled. It's like, yeah, we didn't review it, but yeah, the final season.
If I get to talk,
joke.
if we're going to talk about like shows that fucked up towards the end that we never reviewed, Gotham much? Good God, I'll never forgive them for Gotham. Never.
But yes, folks, we are talking Upload Season 4, the final season, aka I really want to end this. Okay, we'll give you 4 episodes. 4 episodes? How the heck am I going to cram everything into 4 episodes? These and they're not even hour long. Figure it out. And that's pretty much what we got.
It's funny that that's your reaction. My reaction was, this could have been a 90-minute movie. We didn't need the 4 episodes. Like 90 minutes to get us from point A to point B, especially with how they actually ended the show. And I was like, that's all this really needed. This felt like 4 episodes of a lot of time wasted. And I'll let you lead the way. I'll let you call it in the ring, brother. But this to me, like I think the Newsroom, the final season of the Newsroom only went a couple episodes. That was another weird one. But I felt like they used every minute of airtime they had. The final season of Treme felt like they just didn't want to add on. They just didn't want more than 10 episodes of the 3rd season. So they gave them a half a season, but I didn't feel like I was ready for Treme to be over, but I didn't feel like it was wasted time. I am here because I like you, Alexis. This was not a good season of television to watch. And I don't want to be the guy that says I'm annoyed you made me watch this because I don't like those people. But let me tell you how I am here as a service and for the content only. This season sucked.
In all fairness, it was less than 4 hours. I literally binged this in an afternoon between mailing orders from my shop and making lunch. But yes, Upload, created by Greg Daniels, starring Robbie Amell, Andy Allo, Allegra Edwards, among others, started in 2020. We had to wait 2 freaking years for this final season. I know, obviously, the double strike pushed it back like so many other shows, but
can I tell you how the Critical Drinker, your friend and mine, one of your favorite internet people, the guy that you just love enormously, he did a whole video about like why TV sucks, and it wasn't for the reasons you think. He actually cited that as a reason why. And I talked about, I don't remember what Robin and I or Jesse and I were talking about recently where I brought this up, but we were saying how one of the things that he cited as the reason why TV sucks now and is hard to follow is the enormous amount of time it takes between seasons and the lack of actual episodes. Like, I guess there were 8 or 10 episodes of season 3, and you said it's been a 2-year break. Honestly, regardless of my commitment to doing this, I forgot the show existed. I certainly forgot what the fuck happened at the end of season 3, where this opens. I have no idea. I vaguely remembered there were 2 Nathans. I don't remember anything else. I didn't remember Alicia had become a ninja spy. I didn't
remember that either.
I didn't know who the fat Mexican was. I don't know why they're all living in a house. Hang on. I don't know why they're all living in a house like the real world. I don't know how everyone became friends with Ingrid. I don't know anything. This might as well have been a brand new fucking show for all I knew. And he talked about this with like, what's the name of the show you guys have been watching? The Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones spinoff.
Oh, House of the Dragon.
God. Yes, House of the Dragon, where it's like, what, 2 years between seasons? And then he cited another one where it was retarded long in between seasons, where it was just like by the time you get to the next season, Rings of Power. By the time you get to the next season of television, you don't remember what happened in the previous season, nor do you care anymore. The way TV is structured, I said it then, I said it before, I'll say it again. It ran from roughly August, September till about May, which means you really only had June and July off. So 2 months in between, Sam and Diane at the beginning of the season and Sam and Diane at the end of the season. Right? So that was that. You also had 22 to 24 episodes of a season plus a mid-season break, which means you went 12 episodes, 12 weeks, stopped, ran a few reruns, started again, finished the season, and then 2 months later, you were into a new season, which means it kept you invested. There was buy-in, there's investment, there's interest. This is why people stayed with shows that didn't necessarily have a through line, like Seinfeld or anything, or whatever. But you still kept people like riveted to these shows for as long as traditional TV has been around, because you never let them go too long without seeing anything new. Then there's these streaming shows. The fuck yeah, if I know when the shit's coming out, or if I remember. For all I know, at the end of season 3, they were in Hawaii in a cave somewhere doing witchery, and they knew what they did last summer. And I'll tell you another thing. What about the dragons and the eggs that are hatching? And I'll tell you something else. There's Kevin Bacon's running around with a shotgun killing vampires. I'm done now.
Okay, good. I was like, now that you have your filler for TikTok. I honestly had
I don't put you fuckers on TikTok anymore. You all annoyed me.
No, but I know you're going to basically repeat the speech.
I hope. I'm going to tell the ChatGPT to make sure I cut this part out and this becomes my whole TikTok.
No, you're not wrong. I had honestly forgotten about this show. I was working on stuff for my schedule, and it just sort of popped in my head. I'm like, did they ever do anything with Upload Season 4? Because I had seen no advertising whatsoever for it. Google, I'm like, oh shit, it already came out. Hey, Mark, maybe we should just go ahead and finish this. That was literally my mindset. I was like, oh, well, yeah, it's done. I guess we should probably finish it. And in all fairness, I didn't know how bad the season was going to be.
I don't blame you personally, Jesus.
No, you just blame me personally for suckering you in on the bondsman.
My girlfriend's wedding. Moving on.
Well, I still blame you for I know what you did last summer, so we're even. All right, so yeah, I actually watched someone had done a season 3 recap. And even that, there was so many missing things that I didn't get. They were just mostly focusing on the 2 Nathans, because our main character, played by Robbie Amell, in the last season, we find out that he had basically been, after he had escaped Lakeview and been uploaded into a body, someone at Horizon had said, "Oh, whoops, well, must be a glitch. I'll just re-upload him from his last, backup drive." Clink. So we get to Nathan's, and the ending of the third season ended with a cliffhanger, saying that one of the Nathans had been killed, but we didn't know which one. We find out at the start of the season it was the downloaded one, not the still in Lakeview one. And the show is this is so disappointing. The 3 seasons were good, not perfect, but good. It was a fun look at socioeconomic status. It was a interesting concept about what happens when we die. And you have in the first season a really wonderful scene between Nora and her father, where she's trying to convince him to upload when he dies, and he's saying no because his wife passed on and he believes that he will find her in heaven. And you get this really great debate about it's like, would you rather take a chance with your faith that there's an afterlife, or download yourself into the cloud, into Lakeview? We get really great looks at the idea of, again, the class differences. We talked about when they set up the free afterlife, and we talked about the people that we know in our real world who they're not sick, they're not dying, but life has handed them a really hard hand, and they would not hesitate to jump out of this reality and go into a digital afterlife.
Yeah. The first couple of seasons of this, you and I had some really good conversations about what this kind of technology means to present day reality. They've long since abandoned that. This is like, so I talked about this with Strange New World. That actually might have been when I brought up the why television sucks thing. Now that I think about it, it was on that show because we were talking about Strange New World, and I couldn't remember what happened at the end of season 2 either. Notice a pattern. But one of the things that we had noted on that show, and I think it goes for Upload as well, is when Upload was strictly dealing in science fiction, the kind of science fiction that Star Trek used to be really good at, where it was asking moral, ethical, philosophical questions, but also looking at the possibilities of real science and what its implications are. That's when Star Trek was at its best. That's when Upload was at its best.
Absolutely.
And when Star Trek turned into Star Trek shoot 'em in the fucking face, and they abandoned all thoughts about what this could be, it's funny that Upload kind of followed the same trajectory, just in much less seasons, because by the time we've gotten to season 4, they're not asking those kinds of questions anymore. This has become... Do you remember the episode of Family Guy where Peter takes over directing The King and I?
Oh God, yeah.
That's what this has become. This no longer resembles anything we started off with. Now it's space ninjas and nonsense, and it's like, even the way that this ends, and I'll let you get there, but even the way this ends is such superficial tragedy for shallow idiots that when it was over, I was just like, I've never wanted to start my day of work so badly. Like, I watched it in the morning before I had to go to work. And it's like I watch something, like I was watching Heat this morning, and I'm like, oh, I want to stay watching Heat. I want to be in this world. This is such a great movie. I don't want to go to work. I want to focus on Michael Mann movies. Yeah, by the time I was done with Upload season 4, I was like, I would rather start my day at work now. Please, somebody emotionally vomit on me.
Pretty much. One of the main concepts of the series has been class warfare, especially in the third season, where we find out that the billionaires are essentially planning on using people who are uploaded as free labor, because there is no law to protect them. That, it's like, well, they'll have to, it's like we can charge them to continue their world, living in the afterlife.
It's prison labor. You pay a prisoner pennies on the dollar to do laundry or make license plates or whatever the prison manufacturing is.
Yeah. So they can have that money just to get things that they need to survive.
Right.
And this ends with the cops are actually arresting the billionaires. Maybe there is hope for America. I swear to God, I felt like the boxing glove come out of my TV and just hit me in the face square saying, get it!
There's definitely a problem in Hollywood right now of like wish fulfillment being the only driving factor for narratives.
You know, if you know me, you know that I am all for eat the rich. And sorry, I am. But even I was watching this stuff going, okay, there is a difference between analyzing socioeconomic structure and discussing the trouble with the wealthy over consuming. But this season, they pretty much just said, rich are evil. So are we going to look any different? No, rich are evil. I mean, for God's sakes, you have a character who's getting a stem cell treatment, and he actually says, I wrote the lines on, how many embryos are in this stem cell infusion? At least 3, right? It's like, my God, you know.
This is written by a child.
Pretty much. It is so bad. So many of these storylines don't go anywhere. I think the only thing I literally laughed at was Ingrid's wedding having a dubstep version of the wedding march as she walked down the aisle. Because I swear I could see, you know, Instagram worthy weddings. Ugh, I hate talking in that term. Wanting to do shit like that so they can, you know, go viral. I could see that so easily.
Yeah.
And again, so much just makes no sense. So we find out that the second Nathan was not actually killed. He's basically being turned into a guinea pig. They are trying to establish that instead of, okay, when you upload into this digital afterlife, your head gets destroyed. So you can't go back to that body. I don't know why. They're now saying, okay, but what if we actually have a backup drive and you could continuously back up your memories and everything, and we'll charge you for each backup. But now your head won't actually get destroyed. And poor Nathan is basically being zapped in the chair over and over again as they do this. And it's found out within the 3rd or 4th episode, I can't even remember, that doing this has essentially fried the poor man's brain and he is dying.
Yeah.
So we have that, but we also find out that the downloaded Nathan, who was the copy who survived, who is now married Ingrid, and she's making another body for him. So he's going to be re-uploaded back into his body. So Ingrid gets to marry him, but poor Nora doesn't. And yeah, who wanted to see Ingrid and Nathan end up together? I thought that was kind of the whole point of the series was Ingrid started this character, show up.
Because again, a tween girl wrote this, and isn't it so tragic that the hero of our story, the female hero, doesn't get what she wants? Because, because real women, real successful, busy businesswomen who don't need no man should not have love at the end of the rainbow. Instead, the vapid piece of shit gets it because that's all marriage and relationships and love is. It's just terrible. That's what it is. I guarantee you that's what motivated that storyline.
Speaking of vapid pieces of shit, we have talked so much about Ingrid because for the last 3 seasons, she was one of the most developed characters. She starts off as this incredibly shallow, manipulative little rich bitch who has a good heart, but is just too vapid and too stupid to realize, how to use it. By the end of the 3rd season, she has realized that she doesn't need her family wealth. We see her get a job. We see her befriending Nora. She's accepted the fact, that Nathan loves her. And this season, I was like, okay, apparently all of that character development, wow, out the window. The scene of her freaking out over the computer not working and in the main office and smashing all of the monitors. Even the actress is going through this like, I don't know why I'm doing this. No one's giving me proper direction. I have never seen an actress throw a hissy fit on camera who clearly does it. This actress has been great for these last 3 seasons. Watching her throw that hissy film, like, my God, honey, you're acting like you've never acted before in your life.
They spent so much time on her stupid bachelorette party. This is what I mean by, like, it's 4 episodes, too long. This was a 90-minute made-for-TV movie, or, like, made-for-streaming movie, and then we're done. That's how much, they just had to resolve the plot of the 2 Nathans and the AI that was eating the other AIs inside Lakeview. Those were basically it. That's all they had to resolve. And then if you were just going to kill off Nathan anyway, like, this would have a lot more impact if we weren't doing, like, side quests. So the whole stupid thing where they spend a good half an episode on her bachelorette party that's all sad. Like, why? Who gives a fuck? She's going to win in the end. She wins. She gets Nathan. They live happily ever after.
The AI thing, I swear to God, that was added in at the last minute because the writers decided, AI is really topical right now. Let's add in an extra subplot about how because there's this all of the AI helpers in Lakeview are the same guys, played by the same actor. And credit, he's a really funny actor, and I like how he's able to bring a little bit of a nuance to each version of the character. He actually does a good job with it. And then you get Agent Stone from the Sonic movies, who appears on suddenly saying, hey, we only want our AI to make us money because I'm evil. Do I have to make this any more clear? I'm evil. Those are devil horns, not bunny ears, by the way. And suddenly they make this evil version of the AI. And again, I love that it's the same actor. He's just got black hair and black eyebrows, but he's playing it differently. So credit to the actor doing a good job. And now we have this whole template about how AI is evil and he's becoming self-aware and we have to keep him out of the internet. So that means we're going to delete everything in Lakeview, including all the uploads, because they're data. And we will have thoughts and prayers for the data. They actually say thoughts and prayers. In the immortal words of David Wright, subtlety is for cowards.
Yeah, subtle as a donkey kick.
Pretty much. The AI thing is handled so quickly, so stupidly. I love the idea that this AI suddenly reproduces a female version of himself and that they're in love, and then suddenly she starts falling in love with the other AIs, which are still the same person. So again, there is real humor in that, but it is pushed so quickly, and the pacing is terrible, especially in the final episode as we cut back and forth between a pseudo action sequence with the evil AI to a slow romantic tragic scene as Nora and Nathan spend their last moments together in a virtual reality world before he dies. The tonal whiplash is painful, very painful. Like I said, I don't have many notes for this, and I'm going through them quickly. And I will just go ahead and say it. I didn't get the ending. I did not understand what they were going for with the ending. Again, Nathan and...
I explained it to you.
No, not about Ingrid, about the whole thing with Nora and finding out in the whole, it's like, Nathan copy 2 pairing. I'm like, what? Was there another version Nathan saved in the computer, or is there another version downloaded?
I may have slept through that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, there you go. That's how memorable this is. I feel, again, this show has been so much fun for the first 3 seasons. Enjoyed it. Enjoyed talking about it. Every season that we've reviewed it, we've had some really great in-depth conversations. There is nothing to talk about with this.
Okay.
But I've literally gone through all my notes. I have nothing else to talk about.
Do you have a question for me? Host?
Was there any redeeming parts of the 4th season that you enjoyed?
Yeah, the beginning where they did the Twilight with Nora. Did you ever watch Twilight? Please don't give me a 20-minute dissertation about how you're not a girl. Yes or no? Have you watched Twilight?
Only with Riff Tracks commentary.
There's a really great bit in the second movie where Belle Bella.
Bella.
Hansel? Bella. Um, Bella can't be with Edward. Edward has gone to the
Yeah.
west to go, to die in the manner he sees fit. And so she's depressed now because she's lost the true love of her life. And so she's in a room, and the room spins. And every time the room spins, we go through another season. And life is happening around her. The whole point of like the way they shot this is the world keeps moving on, but she refuses to move with it, and so the world revolves around her. It's a very cool shot sequence. It really gives you the feeling of depression that they were going for with Bella in that scene. It's one of the few things about the Twilight movies that I thoroughly enjoyed. There are moments of brilliance in these movies. What they did with Nora, where she's using the Oculus essentially to redo her perfect Montreal wedding with Nathan, and she won't take them off, and she won't get out of the bed, and they start doing night and day coming up, and people are coming in and out of the room to move laundry around and give her food, but she stays static. I like the way they did that. The show doesn't have many moments of brilliance. A lot of it, again, was written by a 12-year-old for a 10-year-old. This is, hot Tumblr garbage. But on the occasion they do something right, I need to call it out. And, and in that particular instance, that the way they shot Nora, you did get a palpable sense of her loss and her depression, which makes the ending even that for me that much more, now that I, not looking at it cynically, made the ending for me that much less satisfying, because characters should not end where they began, and she begins in this place of loss, and then they ended her in the place of loss. And I didn't get a clear sense that the loss at the beginning was remarkably different from the loss at the end. I mean, I guess maybe they were going for like this time, she got to be a part, she got to say goodbye, which she couldn't do the first time. So this feels less like it being ripped from her life. But okay. Like, it was one of the least satisfying endings to any character's arc I've seen in a television show in a while. And like, well, Rattledge, you're so critical of everything. There are plenty of things I'm very forgiving of. This was not one of them.
Especially since we already had a story arc where they thought he was dying. After the end of the second season into the start of the third, we're told that the first person who re-uploaded into a human body, his brain went kablooey. So they're trying to, so they're worried because Nathan's getting nosebleeds and they think he's on borrowed time. They end up finding out that the company, again, evil corporations, faked the death of this guy, and there's no harm. The nosebleeds are just apparently a common side effect of when you go back into your human body, but it's not a sign of a fatal disease. So we already had the idea of Nora saying that, it's like, I may not have much time with him, and now it's happening again.
Well, they miss an opportunity then to talk about what about the possibility of an immortal life. If all you have to do is reprint a non-diseased, youthful copy of yourself, clone a new body, why can't we live forever? And what does that look like? If everybody on Earth has the possibility of uploading their consciousness temporarily just to download it into a newly printed body, at what point, what are the implications for the rest of Earth society? And does everybody get access to this? Do you only get access to it at a certain economic level? Do you only get access to it at a certain IQ level? You
only get access to on a certain health insurance level, you
right.
know? It's like, okay, so you're dying here of multiple tumors in your body. So let's see if your health insurance would cover you getting transferred into a new body. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that would have been interesting. That would have been something worth talking about, but they run screaming away from it.
They don't even really explain, because they say the doctors tell him to just re-upload, and he says it's like, I can't do that because I've already been uploaded like 50 times, because again, his brain was essentially put into a backup drive over and over and over and over again. but they don't really explain why that's going to keep him from uploading again. Because I mean, he says like, is he scared? I think I'm trying to remember if they talk about him losing more of his memories or anything, but it's really not made clear exactly
Yeah,
what the problem is, why he
started-
can't do it again.
Yeah, they started inventing hokey reasons for the plot to move forward. So look, I'll just say this so we can end the show. Neither one of us really wants to be here. The show itself is fine. The show itself, gave us 3 seasons of content to talk about. I think when the show stopped being about the upload technology and what it means to have a digital afterlife and started becoming more of a cloak and dagger conspiracy show, it was starting to lose me already. And they don't even really give you a satisfying ending to that either. Like, their big way of dealing with that is they arrest some of the billionaires and they run over the one billionaire who's in the drive. And it's like, haha, I wish we could do that to Elon Musk. I wish we could do that to Giuseppe, who runs Amazon. Yeah, haha. hate people with money because I want to be one of them and I'm not, and I'm 12.
That scene made no sense anyway, because it's Choke, and he's like he's a soul in a box.
Yeah.
And he says, like, get rid of me, I don't want them confiscating me. And the dude just chucks him to the side of the road.
And then gets run over by Nathan.
Yeah, it's like, really? That's the only thing you could think of? Just chuck it off to the side of the road? You didn't even put it in the woods or anything? You just chucked it?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a 12-year-old's reaction to things they don't like in the modern world, and that's really it. This really shouldn't have gone past season 2. Like, season 1 and 2 made a pretty good long arc, and then after that we were kind of done with this, but Amazon has money to burn. That's all I can tell you.
Like I said, season 3 at least had some really interesting ideas. I loved the Matrix. They matrixed a cow. I still remember coming out. I was like, and that was all I could say for like 5 minutes. You have that. We talk about the new idea of the tent cities, that all these people who were supposed to be uploaded and now don't have, an identity anymore, where they have to go. You have the 3D printed meals, and it was like, yeah, I got it because it's a ham, but they accidentally printed a turkey, so it's a ham shaped like a turkey for the price of cat food. Again, the 3rd season was spinning its wheels, but at least the setting was really creative, and at least we got to see more of this futuristic world and tech that is still, I mean, please God, don't matrix your cows, but there's still the idea of stuff like this being seen in the foreseeable future. So there was still enjoyment to it. We really didn't get that.
On TikTok, like, the people are like 3D printing houses.
Yeah.
Which I think is a real, there's 3D printing houses. I think you can currently 3D print food. It's just not in wide, but if we're that close to being able to 3D print stuff, we're probably not that far off from like a Star Trek replicator.
Oh, I've seen tours of the 3D printed houses. They're not that big, but they're fully functional. So, it's
another really
cool.
good one recently where there's like they blow up like an inflatable house, and then they pour they build a structure around it, and then they pour concrete on it, and voila, you have essentially a giant igloo. Like, that's a pretty cool idea. There's all these different, like, there's the what do you call it? There's the houses that are made of shipping containers.
I love those. I've wanted to live in one of those for so long. I think they're so cool.
And I saw another one where it's a wooden house that's just made of like interlocking wood.
Mm-hmm. You see the ideas of the small houses for more ergonomic living. They're building those kind of things for veterans.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only interesting...
I think Utah ran a study of like the best way to defeat homelessness was to give people houses.
Gee, you think? The only interesting tech we get on this is a spa where we see how the elite spend their money, and we already had little jokes like that. You had a scene in season 1, season 2, I can't remember, where Ingrid gets her shoulder blades sharpened, because apparently that's a thing. And that was kind of funny, the Botox babies joke,
right.
It's like I pray to God that actually wasn't in the previous seasons. I legit can't remember, but yeah, say it's like, look, that little baby over there, she had Botox, and I'm like, why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? Again, I don't know what happened. I don't know if this season was taken over by new writers. I don't know if they just legit gave up. I have absolutely no idea why this season took such a downturn. I don't know why we got 4 episodes instead of 8. Again, I don't disagree with you that this could have been an hour and a half movie, but 4 episodes seems like such an odd choice. Like, again, it's like either make this into a movie or give us 8 episodes so we're not rushing it. Give us one of the doing 4 episodes like this and then rushing everything just doesn't make a lot of sense why that was the choice.
Yeah, I'd have to look into the production, and I don't really care enough.
Me neither. I was going to say, I'm doing a TV party tonight every week this month in October, and frankly, I am much more excited about the other shows we're going to be talking about than this. I really feel bad because we've been saying for ages, go check out Upload, the season 1, season 2, season 3. These are fun, really cool ideas. You're going to get some really interesting philosophical debates out of it about the idea of afterlife, and it's really fun. And yeah, fumble at the 5-yard line, folks. And that's the only freaking sports reference you're ever gonna get out of me. So unless there was anything else you wanted to talk about, Mark, I think we can go ahead and wrap this up and move on to plugs.
I was shaking my head vociferously. I do not have... I'm done talking now.
Sorry, you're kind of you're skipping frames on your feedback, so it's like, wait, you're shaking your head? I literally can't see that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm good. Moving on.
All right. Well, like I said, we're going to be coming every week this month with new TV Party Tonights. Mark and I will be back next week to talk Monsters Season 3, the Ed Gein story. I have been so excited about this. I'm sure Mark has been annoyed with every time I send him a new trailer. So really looking forward to that. We've been talking about the previous seasons with Jeffrey Dahmer and the Menendez brothers and having a lot of fun with that. After that, we are going to be looking at Alien Earth. Now, this makes me laugh because...
So, I'm hosting that one, right?
Yeah, I know you're hosting that one.
Okay.
But no, so I started watching Alien Earth with my husband, and as I started watching the first episode, and I'm noticing the very abstract, trippy, art house style editing, I thought to myself, wait a minute, I recognize this. Noah Hawley. What else did you create?
Legion.
Fargo with Legion. Yeah.
I was actually telling one of my patients today about how great Legion is.
Yeah, his fingerprints are all over Alien
good. Jesse
Earth.
and I are going to have a wonderful time with this show then. Since we reviewed all 3 seasons of Legion.
It's just, that very surreal style of editing and cinematography that Hawley really capitalized on in Legion is all over Alien Earth. It's bizarre as hell. And I'm already predicting I'm going to see a lot of cosplayers with the octopus eye thing on as a mask over their heads for next week at GalaxyCon. But anyways, after Alien Earth, we're going to be looking at Peacemaker Season 2. I know you're on for that. And after that, Jesse Starcher has come back to do another session on our Stranger Things retrospective, looking at Season 3. We're going to be reviewing that on the 28th, just in time for Halloween. So, yeah, you can't get rid of me this month, no matter how hard you try, Mark.
Sunday, Jesse and I looked at A Simple Favor and Another Simple Favor. That was a lot of fun. Monday, myself and Robert reviewed one battle after another. That was less fun. Tomorrow, we got a triple feature focusing on Michael Mann. We're looking at Ferrari, Heat, and Collateral. Heat's just as good as I remember it, if not better. I might be going TikTok live this Saturday night. I'll decide this Saturday. Sunday, Sean and I are doing an on trial for Tron Legacy to gear up for Tron Ares, which comes out that weekend. However, Monday, Robert and I don't know if anyone else is coming on for this, are doing a Damn You Hollywood for the Smashing Machine, which is about Mark Kerr, I believe, played by The Rock, the aforementioned monster show. And then this show has been several years in the making. It's the second on trial for that week, and it's just something I wanted to do. And it got moved around a whole bunch for a variety of different reasons. But Sean and I will be doing an on trial for Maximum Overdrive. I've never seen it. I'm finally going to get a chance to, and we'll talk about it with Sean in theory. So I'm very excited about that.
I am already predicting you guys are going to take bets on how many drugs Stephen King had put into his system before he started directing that
Robert
film.
did the same thing. He was just like, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be an extended conversation of the copious amounts of cocaine Stephen King was on. I'm like, all right, I don't know. I just remembered seeing the poster when I was a kid, and I've never watched the movie, so I want to talk about it.
Oh, King has fully admitted he was coked out of his mind.
Wonderful.
When he was
This
directing.
is even better. This is better than I could have ever hoped for.
It is. If it wasn't Stephen King directing High as a Kite, that movie would be pushed to the absolute bottom of worst movies of all time. But because of these circumstances, it's like, this is something that Robert and I actually talked about on the Long Walk review when we were talking Stephen King adaptations. We said that when you can talk about Stephen King movies, it's not just 0 to 10, it's 10 to 0 to -10. And when it's far enough to close enough to -10, it's just as good as when it's in the positive 10, because there are so many adaptations that are just so hilariously bad, like Maximum Overdrive, like Sleepwalkers. It's like, yeah, you'll love them. You know they're bad, but you love them.
Okay.
So I know, go check out the not Unholy Trinity, so the Unholy Duo's review of The Long Walk. Great movie, by the way. Absolutely loved it. All right. Was that it for your plugs? Anything else?
No.
All right. And moving on to the Honeysuckle Hustle. I'm never going to let you live that down. Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. Like I mentioned just a few seconds ago, we are going to be appearing at GalaxyCon in St. Louis. Going to have a lot of fun with that. They've got some real A-list actors coming up for that. Nearly the entire cast of Hazbin Hotel and the live-action One Piece are going to be there. Really excited. Love working in St. Louis. Like 90% of my family lives out there, so I love any excuse to go out there and see them. Afterwards, we're going to be heading up to the Twin Cities Con in Minneapolis. That's going to have a Mummy reunion with Brendan Fraser attending, among other actors from the Mummy franchise. As always, you can find everything on our Etsy and Handmade at Amazon shops. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Screw You, Twitter, and TikTok. So for myself, for Mr. Mark Rattledge, thanks for tuning into an exceptionally short TV.
Yeah, I don't think we've done the show this short since what? Hailstorm?
The show that actually hurt to watch. This wasn't that bad. No part of Upload Season 4 actually caused me physical pain.
No, something else we reviewed recently where we didn't make it an entire hour. Was it The Bondsman?
Was it because it wasn't I Know What You Did Last Summer, because we had fun trashing that garbage.
Yeah, that one I feel like went over at least a little bit over an hour, but I feel like The Bondsman was really short because we ran out of shit to say.
Yeah, I think the most in-depth part of that was, my God, when are writers going to learn there's other female demons you can use besides Lilith?
Yeah, so welcome to yet another one of Mark and Alexis have nothing to talk about.
All right, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Have a wonderful night, and you know what? Don't matrix your cows.